All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Appreciate your time. I'm Tim LeGendre. I'm one of the founders of TourTrader Pro, which is bringing scientifically optimized fan engagement to professional sports leagues and wagering platforms. So let me start super high level, just give you a 10,000 foot overview here. So the platform works like an investment or a brokerage account. That's what the user interface looks like. And it allows the user to trade athlete performance like the stock market. Maybe that sounds interesting, maybe it doesn't. What's the point here? Well, what I'm going to attempt to articulate here for you is why this ultimately amounts to the holy grail for our constituents, the professional leagues and the wagering platforms. So let's break that down a little bit further. So this is probably intuitive, but obviously the wagering platforms, they're looking for increased betting volume, or what they call in industry parlance, the handle. So they're always looking to increase that. It correlates directly to the bottom line. The leagues, of course, are looking for increased viewership. That's very intuitive. In fact, we see this in action where the NBA is currently working with a company called nVenue on what we call micro betting markets. So for folks that aren't familiar, micro betting simply means being able to bet while a competition is going on. So a traditional bet, you place that, and it's basically a buy and hold investment. So you wait and see how you did at the end of the competition. But micro betting allows you to be actively engaged during a competition. So the NBA's work with nVenue has shown a pickup in engagement of 45 to 60%. Okay, now let me introduce you to my platform, which for golf is called TourTrader Pro. So the beta tests that we've run have demonstrated a further substantial improvement, actually a 500% increase in engagement. We actually measure that by transaction volume. Okay, so how are we accomplishing that? Okay, the solution, I think, lies in a framework that's recently been coined as the evolutionary scarcity loop. So the scarcity loop was actually introduced to explain why slot machines are so profitable and why they represent the most expensive real estate in any casino in the world. So there's 5 components here. You have opportunity, unpredictable rewards, quick repeatability, and then the 2 that I think are most pertinent to my platform, they're defined as near misses and losses disguised as wins. So let me unpackage that a little bit further. How do we execute on tapping into this scarcity loop? Okay, so you have other innovations right now in fan engagement. In sports wagering, I just mentioned one with the micro betting. Then you have these platforms that are called wagering exchanges. And the word exchange, I don't want that to be conflated with what we have here. That's something very different. An interesting innovation nonetheless. Now, these innovations are partially tapping into the scarcity loop that I just outlined here. Now, we, on the other hand, are hitting all 5 of these. And the reason that we're able to tap in so effectively is that the trading instruments that we've created, they're non-binary. So that simply means that there's a full range of outcomes on every trade. So a traditional bet, like I mentioned, it's like a buy and hold investment. You just see how it works out at the end of the competition. And it's win or lose. It's all or nothing. Whereas the trading contracts that we've designed, again, are non-binary. And because of that nature, the user is constantly being presented with the quote unquote near misses and losses disguised as wins. And that reinforces that feedback loop, and it actually increases the speed of repeatability, which is an essential component of that feedback loop. So let's get into the details a little bit. I want to first explain what we did for golf. That was our first vertical. So you have a picture of what the app looks like, one of the pages on the app. And what it is a gamified, again, brokerage account type of platform. We're trying to incorporate the same types of gamification that financial brokers, like Fidelity, Schwab, and TD are doing. Technically speaking, so the trading instruments I just mentioned that are non-binary, they're most comparable to a cash-settled futures contract, which sounds a little bit technical, but they're really quite intuitive even for financial novices. Really, when you get down to it, our platform is all about buying low and selling high. You can all understand that. I think just about 99% of the population can quickly grasp that. Now, the actual price of these contracts, which fluctuates during a competition, for golf, that's tied to the prize money that the player earns. So you're basically buying or selling a futures contract on player prize money. You don't actually own that. This is an equity. It's just a cash settled futures. And golf works really well because of the flow of a professional golf tournament. You have a lot of leaderboard movement, so it kind of works like a market in and of itself. And you've got a lot of crossover appeal here. So I think we can all remember a couple years ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, when sports shut down, it seems like everyone and their grandmother took to day trading. So we think we're going to have a lot of interesting customers here. I should point out too, because this is a gaming product, we really exemplify a cornerstone of the gaming industry, and that is responsible gaming. And we do that because, like a real brokerage account, we have all kind of risk management parameters, stop losses, limit orders, what have you. And this is just very important to the gaming industry for obvious reasons. They don't want their customers to be a bunch of degenerates, for lack of a better way to put it. So it's very important in our industry, and we really encapsulate that. So I want to shift gears just a little bit. I mentioned the NBA at the beginning, so I want to talk about what we're doing for the NBA. NBA is a team sport, so it's going to work a little bit different, but we're delivering exactly what we're delivering for golf. We're tapping into that feedback loop and increasing engagement. So again, golf is a natural fit because, like I mentioned, the dynamic or the flow of a professional golf tournament is comparable to a market. So you have a lot of participants, you have some moving up in value, some moving down in value. There's a lot of price action, if you will. And even if you have a golf tournament, think back to the Tiger Woods era, he would win by 20 strokes. Well, because our contracts are non-binary, that tournament, which is otherwise boring, suddenly becomes interesting when you can speculate on who's going to come in second place or third place because of the non-binary nature of our product design. So for basketball, what we've done to financially engineer the same type of engagement for the NBA is that we pick an individual player statistic to be traded. And here with this example, we're looking at the points leader, the scoring leader. We establish a duration for the tournament. And with our example here, we're opening up trading for the entire month of January to see who the points leader will be. And then all we have to do is establish a payout structure like there is for golf. Now, there's no prize money for basketball, but we can simply use any structure that we deem optimal. And that's, in fact, what we do. We take the payout structure and really every element of the trading contract, and we calibrate it to deliver the optimal level of price volatility. So we want lively markets that are fun to trade. We want big profit opportunities for the user. The more exciting it is, the more folks will trade. And again, we can kind of financially engineer this to maximize the engagement, which correlates directly to the bottom line because this is a transaction fee-based revenue model. We're generating commissions. This NBA app here is in beta form. This is actually going to be available to the public on the app stores here shortly. We designed this for the NBA, and we're actually in due diligence with them to secure their endorsement of the product and investment from the NBA as well. Now, just taking a step back here on the business model, this is an area that is probably going to be new for folks that aren't familiar with the gaming industry, but our product sits as a B2B2C product. So we're not trying to distribute directly to the general public. Rather, we're going to be distributing our product through established gaming operators. So what's a gaming operator? That's just someone like a DraftKings or a FanDuel, all the names you probably associate with the sports betting market. So we distribute through those folks. We're not looking to compete with them. And then in addition, the gaming operator serves as the market maker for our exchange. So they're taking the opposite side of every user trade, whether it's a long or a short position. And what we've developed in-house is a proprietary algorithm that prices our contracts from the pre-competition period all the way through the end of the competition whether it's a golf tournament or our basketball competition here. So we've eliminated the position risk for the operator because we can price these things very efficiently, and then it just becomes a volume game to manage the position risk. Now, the other reason we've chosen this path to distribution is that the licensing that's required of us as a technology platform provider to the gaming industry, that requires something called the supplier license in each state jurisdiction. And then in the UK, it's actually a software license. So this is much quicker and more affordable to obtain than if we were to go directly to the consumer, which I would argue is a foolish errand anyways, when you look at the market share of the big players like DraftKings in FanDuel. In addition, we have other monetization opportunities here with our free-to-play, where we'll be running competitions for prizes sponsored by the leagues like the NBA, for example. And to conceptualize that, would be something to the effect of like the top trader for the week or the month, what have you. All kinds of competitions we can do to engage folks through our free-to-play platform.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, perfect. Okay, one thing I'm really excited to share, another aspect of the business, is that we have secured almost immediate global exposure here. First, through our participation in something called the Golf Pitch Challenge. And that's been created by the two gentlemen you see on the screen here. So on the right is Kevin Harrington, who is one of the original judges on Shark Tank. And then you have David Ledbetter, who's an acclaimed golf instructor. So they're launching the Shark Tank for golf. In fact, it's officially launching here at the PGA show, which occurs in a couple weeks at the end of January. And we're going to be featured as a title sponsor of the Shark Tank program, and are going to be appearing on the Golf Channel's Morning Drive program to promote that. In addition, we have a couple other opportunities here that are going to get millions of eyeballs on this here in Q1 of 24. One other one that I'd note here is the $10 million Wonder Shot. That's also going to be distributed by NBC. So long story short, we've got a lot of eyeballs on the product here as we launch in Q1. Won't spend a lot of time here. Look, this is just a potential juggernaut in terms of revenue. Here with this breakdown, I looked at the traditional prize money sports, so golf, which we've developed, and then included tennis and F1. We're looking at a $500 million revenue machine here on an annual basis. Likewise for the NBA, even using conservative numbers, this is just very scalable for the NBA. Just a brief note on the technology. Look, this is just a very simple industry standard integration to get our platform and our back end into the operator's digital infrastructure. And I already mentioned DraftKings and FanDuel. We're looking to integrate directly with those operators, and then doing some other stuff with OpenBet and IMG Arena. And I mentioned them only because they're doing some particularly cool stuff with golf. So IMG Arena is the company that has a monopoly on all the golf data. So at every PGA Tour event, they have 3 cameras and launch monitors on every single hole. So it's just fascinating technology. And we're working in partnership with IMG Arena to bring our golf product to life, and also to distribute it as well. They're in the distribution game also. Yep. Okay, so I'll wrap it up here. Look, so my co-founder and I are financial industry executives. That's where the idea came from. Let's take the stock market to sports. Because we're gaming industry outsiders, we brought in the best in the business. Matt Para has done integrations, including for Hard Rock Casino for 20 years. And then our 2 industry consultants on the bottom right have close to 80 years in total of gaming industry experience. So it's a really strong executive team here. And I'll wrap just with a comment on the investment. So we've completed our seed round, $1 million raised. I already alluded to the fact that we're in diligence with the PGA Tour and the NBA. So we'd like an investor to join the PGA Tour and the NBA, initially looking for $2.5 million for operations and these integrations, which is basically a pay-to-play exercise. And then we're potentially seeking another $2.5 million for a more scaled marketing push and associated media with the platform. So I'll wrap it there. I know we're on a tight schedule. Thank you so much for your time. Happy to take 1 or 2 now or later if there are any questions. But if not, thanks so much, and appreciate your consideration.
Quick question. What's your fee structure?
So the way we generate revenue is commissions on the trades. So it's exactly like an exchange or a brokerage model.
So like, so an example, you've got a $10,000 bet.
Yeah, so it's a percentage-based commission. So we charge between 1% and 2% on every trade.
The $10,000 trade, you charge 1%.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so pretty straightforward economics. Yeah.
Great. All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.